Okay, Michael, so I wanted to, before diving into a couple of examples, I wanted to remind you of a conversation that we had earlier. Does this little picture look familiar to you?
It looks like the Monte Carlo tree search stuff we talked about in the options lesson.
It actually is. So here's the point that I wanted to, and I made the point at the time, but I wanted to really kind of drive it home here. Um, if you recall, I asked you to come up with some options for solving Pac-Man, and you came up with four of them. You remember what they were?
Yeah, I think they're on the slide, fortunately. I just have to remember what they mean. It's like eat with three different bullets and they're getting successively larger, but I think it's actually food pellet, power pellet, monster, or ghost, and then avoid ghost.
And avoid ghost, right? And as you recall, at the time we briefly discussed that these things really do look like options, and this last one doesn't really look like an option in the sense that it doesn't have a goal and there's something you can succeed. You can, in some sense, only fail. And this turned out to be interesting for a couple of reasons. One, just because you came up with them, and in fact, we've done this study on multiple humans and of various levels of expertise, and basically they all come up with the same four.
Hmm.
Sometimes they'll come up with a fifth that kind of distinguishes between eating a real ghost that's edible and a ghost that isn't edible and that kind of thing. But basically, they come up with these same four. And the point here, and why I wanted to bring it up, is that if you just ask people to give you what they know, you ask them to communicate, you ask them to coach an agent, they will often come up with things that are different from what your machine expects. And the sort of claim I want to make is that often in research, what we do is we come up with wonderful machine learning algorithms, decide what information they need, and then try to force humans to give us that information. But actually, human beings will naturally sometimes give us that information, but often will give us different kind of information. And if you look at it the wrong way, you would say, well, look, these three are useful. This last one can't be implemented, so I'm going to ignore it. But in fact, even in the Monte Carlo tree search example, this last one, this constraint, actually helped us develop a better algorithm because it gave us a better rollout strategy. And in fact, as the students listening will know because they've read the paper on this that we made available, that it actually improves performance an amazing amount. So the point of this is that when we ask humans to communicate, to be a part of the sort of team of how we teach and demonstrate to our agents, we need to meet them where they are as opposed to try to force them to meet us where our algorithms are. And I want to give you just a couple of examples of that. That sound fair?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Cool. All right. So the first one's going to be something called policy shaping. And as a preview, just want you to know the whole point of this is to say that all the stuff you talked about with reward shaping was wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's take a look.